Hello everyone, welcome to my tier list video. I'm finally making it. Okay, so I know straight away not every single boxer will be on this tier list. I've just got the ones that I happen to know. So we've got a few categories for this. We've got a good boxer, which is someone who you'd look at and think, alright, yeah, you know, they've been boxing for a while, they could hold their own. We've got experience, is someone you wouldn't consider like a pro boxer or anything like that. You just say, yeah, you know, they've had a couple fights, couple spars here and there, that's all good. Training, the training category is someone who you think is like mediocre, like they're all right. They're probably training to have their first white collar fight, like they haven't actually had like a proper fight experience. Beginner, someone who's pretty much just put on the gloves and they're having their first scrap or having like punch in the bag and having their first ever sparring session. And then we've got NA, which is basically never had any boxing experience at all, and to be honest with you, their performance is cringeworthy and embarrassing, and you shouldn't have ever picked up the boxing bags, rings, gloves, that one. But yeah, let's do it. Alright, so the first person we've got is Alex Wasabi. Now, I don't know much about him. All I know is he kept trying to call out KSI for a couple of fights, and I'm pretty sure he's the guy who got beaten by Fuslietube. But, you know, he's not awful. I don't know, it's hard. I'd probably say I'd rate him as... he's probably in the training category because, you know, he's obviously had one or two sparring sessions and he could probably hold his own, but I wouldn't say he's an experienced fighter. I wouldn't say he's, like, intimidating or anything. Right, so the next person we got is the Wreckaracker Brothers, and I'm pretty sure that the one that did fight, his name was Daniel, I think something like that, and he fought scarce in the undercard of KSI versus Logan 1. He did alright. He basically, well, to be honest with you, he absolutely destroyed scarce, which wasn't difficult, but he did it anyway, regardless. I wouldn't say he's, I don't know, you could put him in... I don't know, I guess he's kind of the same as Alex Wasabi. Like, you could say, he's had boxing training, but to say whether he's an experienced fighter, saying, you know, like, no, I don't know. He's not that experienced. He's only had one white-collar fight. Yeah, I'd say he's, like, on the training level. Like, he's training to have a, you know, a proper fight. Alright, so the next person we got is Deji, the man that claims he's basically Muhammad Ali of the internet. I don't know, he's had one fight and he got beaten up, and then because he gave Jake Paul a nosebleed, like I said, he thinks he's Muhammad Ali, but in reality, he didn't even train for his first fight. He's openly admitted that he was just eating fast food and basically not doing anything properly. So, I don't know, if he applied himself, I'd say he could. It's really difficult to place Deji, actually. I think if you were to compare him between the Wreckaracker Brothers and Alex Wasabi, I think he's a higher level than them, purely because he did do a pretty damn good job against Jake on his first fight, and that was through basically not taking his training seriously. So I'm going to give him some credit, and I'm going to put him in experienced. I reckon if I had him in a boxing fight, I don't know, he'd probably beat me up. Alright, the next person we got is FaZe Sensei. There's no point in denying the fact that he's a good martial artist. Like, he's obviously good at fighting, he's in really good shape. However, when it comes to boxing, it's very different to what he's used to, and it shows because he's not the best at it. I think just by the fact that he hasn't had like much boxing fights as well, I'm probably going to have to put him into the training. I know people are going to probably think, oh, he's better than Deji or this and that, but I don't know. He's not really like done anything impressive, if you know what I mean. Alright, the next person we got is Fuslietube. Basically the punch bag for Slim. Yeah, he did pretty bad, if I'm honest. He's probably put up the worst performance out of all the boxers. His face, he just was mingled. He looked like a bag of potatoes that had been thrown down the stairs. Could have been a good boxer, like he was in the shape for it, but I think he froze up on that night when he was fighting Slim, and he basically just looked like Nicki Minaj gone wrong, basically. And I think because he basically put in such a awful performance, it's like he didn't even know how to box. It's like he didn't even know how to defend or anything. I think he's going to have to go in beginner, which is, I think that's fair enough, right? Alright, so the next person we got is Anderson Gibb. Now, Gibb has done 2 fights. He won both of them. Those were the white collar fights. One's a headgear. And then he had a fight with Jake Paul. Got absolutely destroyed in the first round. And that was mainly because I don't think he prepared to fight someone at such a high level. He was expecting everyone to be on his level, and it backfired, and he got beaten up. But saying that, although he did get beaten up on the first round, Gibb is one of them people where you know that if he had the right opportunity, he'd probably do well. He'd do well. He'd do better than pretty much anyone on this list. Gibb messed up his style. He was trying to do the peeky boo style, trying to duck, and it just didn't work. I don't know what his performance was. Just because you did one bad performance, that doesn't mean you're a bad boxer or anything. It just means you had a bad night, and I think that's exactly what happened with Gibb. I think I'd put Gibb probably in the same category as Deji, because Deji, I don't know, I think it would be a fair, even fight between them two, so I think that's good that they're in that, I think it's good that they're in the same class. Alright, so the next person we're going to do is we're going to do Jay Swingler. Now, Jay Swingler has only done one fight, and he lost it. It was actually against Gibb. Jay, he did all right. Everyone was expecting him to win because of all the stupid stuff he's done, like microwaving his head into not microwaving his head. That doesn't make any sense. Cementing his head into a microwave, and it was basically like the English equivalent to Johnny Knoxville. Everyone expected his pain tolerance to be really high, so he basically could get punched in the face like Rocky Balboa. I don't know. Everyone was just expecting him to just be like a brick wall, but he did get defeated. He hasn't fought since, so he's beginner. Like, he's not awful. He's not someone you could say is like, yeah, he's a training in boxing, because he definitely didn't look like that. He looked like a beginner. Alright, so the next person we got is JMX. Now, JMX is a difficult one. I don't know. He's an alright boxer, but I don't think he'd beat anyone else I don't think he'd beat the top tier YouTube boxers. I really don't think he would. He did fight MMA and he did pretty good in that, but I don't know. If it was JMX to fight anyone, I think if JMX is to fight someone like Logan or JJ, I think he'd get battered, to be honest. He doesn't seem like it's really difficult to place JMX. I don't know where to put him at all. Experienced, or is he or would you say he's in training? I suppose that if you think of all the other YouTubers, boxers and that, you'd probably say JMX is up there with being one of the best, so guess I'll put him in experienced. Anyway, so the next one... Scarce. That's all you need to know and see. That's all that needs to be said. Alright, next person we got, let's do Slim. Now, Slim, again, reckons he's Muhammad Ali because he beat up Fuslietube. Fuslietube was, like I said, a sack of potatoes. He just stood there and took every single punch imaginable and didn't even realise that you had to guard in boxing. Slim, I reckon he's got this ego because he did beat up someone who just stood there. But I think if he was to actually fight someone who knew what they were doing or had a game plan, also because of his weight, I think he'd get knocked out clean, like without any issue at all. I guess he's kind of in the same category as Deji and Gibb. I don't know. I think Deji and Gibb would beat him, but I can't say that he's in training because, you know, he can hold his own. So I'd say he's in experienced. Next person is Joe Weller. We've had, one actual fight with him and JJ, and he lost pretty badly. It was just simply him freezing from anxiety, like he said in his podcast. His performance wasn't great, but it wasn't awful. Like, he did get a few swings, on JJ. And then he did fight Jake as well in this back garden, and he got flattened again. I like Joe, but I don't think he's got that killer instinct. He's just a nice guy, isn't he? He's just chilled. I don't think, even though he started the whole boxing and everything, I don't think that he is a boxer. So personally, although I really like Joe, I can't be biased. I'm going to put him in training. Yeah, that's fair enough. All right, now to the three big boys. Let's start with Logan. Now, Logan is a very good boxer. He has the ability to knock out people. He's got the power for it. He has got the boxing ability. It's difficult because for some reason everyone on the internet thinks that if you have one bad boxing performance night, therefore that means that defines you as a boxer. Like if Mike Tyson lost a boxing fight, everyone wouldn't turn around one day and say, oh, he was terrible, he was this, he was that. They say, look, he had a bad day. Let's move on, let's go to the next one. And that's what happened with Logan. From all the training footage and slow-mo replays, Logan does have boxing IQ. He can defend himself. He has got, he can punch. But he just put in a terrible performance, and unfortunately, when it comes to boxing, you could be good at hitting the pads or good at sparring, but if you don't perform on the night, it doesn't mean anything, does it? Now, I don't know, it's difficult. I'm saying if there was an in-between between good boxer and experienced, I would say that he'd be in between. But to keep this interesting, I'm going to put him in good boxer. Because he is a good boxer. Like, let's be honest, every single person watching this, if they got in a ring with Logan Paul, he'd knock you out clean. Alright, next person. Oh, my favourite YouTuber. Love him so much. It's JJ. Right, so he has fought Joe, beat Joe, had a draw with Logan, and then he beat Logan. And it was all because of this fighting style where he was like a spider on roller skates. He was like this. You know, all like that, and swinging arms and... Oh, God. Not a great boxing style, but for some reason it actually worked. I still don't know how it worked, but it did. But again, if I was to put him in this list, looking at every single person below Logan, or basically everyone below good boxing tier, he would beat up every single one of them. So I have to put him in good boxer. And of course, we now have Jake. Unquestionably the best boxer out of every single person on this list. He's been training for 2 years now, pretty much non-stop. He's now having his second professional fight, coming up with Nate Robinson. Okay, so there's no denying it, Jake's in good boxing class. So yeah, he's in the good boxing class. Alright, so that is the tier list. I think it's pretty fair. I think Scarce probably deserves his own category for absolutely dog shite. Other than that, yeah, I think I agree with that. If you do agree with that, let me know in the comments down below. If you didn't agree, let me know why I'm wrong, because I'm actually interested. I don't want to just hear people just saying how KSI is the best. Can you make sure you subscribe? Anyway, I'll catch you on the next one. Peace.